All right, if you're a 70 series owner, I've got the statement from Toyota right here, and it's good news. They're going to release a manual. So if you're after a manual in the new 70 series, stay tuned. We're going to run through what they have to say. Okay, let's be honest. 70 series automatic, I think it's a big plus. However, unless you're Ronnie Dahl and you're hitting the tracks often and all the time and you're getting to use that car what it's built for, most of us, we're in the daily grind, we hit traffic, stop, start driving. It's probably 80% or more than 80% of the vehicle's normal driving and what it's going to do in its life. So the automatic to me is a big plus. It's just easy to drive. Okay, a question I often get asked, do you need a manual and should I keep with a manual vehicle, or is the auto going to do what I need it to do? Personally, the manual, shifting down gears, getting to pick the gear you want, matching the torque and the driving conditions. If you're a good driver, you know your car, you know your load and your driving conditions and what the car's capable of, the manual is better for you, because obviously you don't want to put it in the wrong gear, but generally as a driver you're going to pick that you're in too tall a gear and the car's going to become lethargic. Now when it comes to an automatic, takes all that thinking out of it for you. But is it too smart but not smart enough? Does it jump in a higher gear, bring the RPM all the way down, and once again go into a high load point and it becomes uneconomical on fuel, temperatures are up, the turbo's not boosting, drivability's not great, for the likes of cruise control won't work when you have to put it in sports mode. If you've got to constantly move it over to sports mode to tow whatever you're towing, because it's not just the weight, it's the wind resistance, it's the whole package that you present and what you're driving. Tyre size change the car. When you're at a full drive, you're modifying the car to go off-road. So you're changing the final drive ratio by upgrading your tyres. So this is something I would say, it all depends on what you're going to do with the vehicle, how you're going to use it, and what you're like at driving. If you're just a point and shoot driver, start the car, put in drive and drive, maybe the automatic's for you because it's going to give you the drivability. Put something in there to monitor your temperatures like scan gauge. You can see your load points, your EGTs, coolant temperatures. Drive it where it runs coolest, and that means if you don't want to sit on the ideal speed that everyone else is towing at, so be it. You need to drive where that vehicle sits sweet. So if it means 5th gear, 4th gear or 6th gear, given your vehicle and what you're trying to do with it, that's where you've got to drive it to. Now, traditionally with automatics, you couldn't let it go into a higher gear, you'd burn the transmission out, transmission temperatures, so forth, everything skyrockets. The cooling capacity of the vehicles was they weren't designed to tow big loads like everyone's now. It used to be a 2 ton, 2.5 ton, now it's 3.5 ton towing capacity. I mean, that's a lot of weight to haul behind a car and expect the transmission to do 1 million kilometres. So you've got to be real about the expectations. Okay, so Toyota's statement, their first paragraph, and what they have to say is they've expanded its heavy-duty 70 series range to include a 5-speed manual gearbox. Well, we used to have that, now we've gone to the auto, now we're back to a manual as it's an upgrade. Look, it's an option because a lot of people were asking for it. That's how they've said also. Now, with the variants, all of the single cab options, no manual 5-speed, and also they say every level workmate variant of the wagon is no manual. So that sounds a little bit all over the place, what is and isn't going to get a manual transmission. Let's clarify that in more detail, what models and which ones are options for 5-speed. So the 79 series workmate, no manual option. GX, single cab, no option, no 5-speed. 79 series single cab GXL, no option, no 5-speed. And the last one, the mighty 76, just the workmate option, no 5-speed. Why do you think that is? I personally believe that they've done it because of the commercial aspect. The only one that differs on that is a GXL in the single cab. Look, traditionally, most commercial environments, they won't opt for a GXL. It's usually the work model ranges. However, I've said that, but often the Troopies get used as well. So that sort of doesn't make sense. I don't know what their thought process is behind that, but my original thoughts were when they go on to a hired platform or mining or commercial aspect, the vehicle can get abused. Like I mentioned, the automatic takes control of the vehicle. You can't abuse it. It can go into limp modes, but you don't get as much abuse on an automatic as you can on a manual. That's what my thought process is around it. All right, well, we've all heard the story around a campfire of a mate who's had a hire vehicle or been on a mine site, or we've seen a mate trying to do a skid in a manual transmission, take it back into the dealership and try and claim warranty on it because he doesn't know how to drive. We've all heard that story, got a mate, or seen it happen in front of us, and that's why I reckon Toyota aren't putting a manual in a workmate. Pricing, you've just saved $2,000 when you buy a manual in your new Land Cruiser. Which model's the cheapest and what do they cost? And you guessed it, the most expensive is the dual cab GXL. Yes, you're going to pay more. Get this, it's $81,500. I'm not sure what the difference is between a troop carrier and a dual cab for that big price difference. But yes, the Troopy is a workmate and the dual cab is the GXL, and you're thinking straight away, diff locks is the option. Well, they've disclosed it's a $1,500 upgrade for diff locks. So really, are you paying all that money for electric windows and a few bits and bobs and carpet? So they make reference to dropping the V8 Land Cruiser and also introducing the 4-cylinder automatic and strengthening the capacity, the tow and the off-road performance with the 4-cylinder, and they're disclosing that the sales are still strong and they wanted to support an extra market and still have that manual option for those that were saying, I wouldn't buy the car because it's not manual. How are the sales figures looking? I don't think they have really dropped. The Land Cruiser sales, you still can't get one very easy, and they are new with a 4-cylinder and an auto. A very interesting remark they made, compared with the previous V8 Land Cruiser 70 series, the new manual gearbox has been designed to make the most of the 4-cylinder high torque output of the short first, second, third gears and the aid of start-off performance. And a longer fifth gear to help improve fuel economy and reduce engine noise while cruising at highway speeds. What does that mean to you and what are the ratios? A costly upgrade to do away with them and go to a single mass flywheel like we used to run on the V8, and we'd upgrade it with a billet flywheel and a clutch upgrade. They have disclosed that it's a 12-inch clutch, but that's about as much detail that they've given us here. I'm very keen to see one of these clutches on the bench and how it goes, and is it going to be much better than what we've seen in the past when you have a manual and you start modifying and putting loads on it and larger tyres, it doesn't go the distance. Well, here's the line. I can't believe I'm reading this. It says, providing excellent clutch slip resistance. I don't even know if I would have put that in a statement in regards to an upgrade. That's a big call from Toyota. I beg to differ if any clutch has got good clutch slip resistance. It all comes down to how the person drives it. Will the new clutch, even though it's 12-inch, I doubt it's going to be twin plate, and I hope, like I mentioned, it's not a dual mass flywheel, dampened flywheel, but also in this statement, they're mentioning that it's got a triple synchronized mechanism and added into the first gear to aid in shifting. Look, if you drive the car right, I never saw anything wrong with the old gearbox. Maybe they did with other people and feedback from customers. Let's see how it drives when it arrives. Well, all I can say is, luckily, we're going to have MPC clutch solutions for this car, because clutch slip resistance, you're still making me laugh, Toyota. But anyway, let's get on with it. Now, another point, what they've said here in this one is they've got a range of durability focused engine upgrades applied to the 4-cylinder since 2023 to make it go the distance in the 70 series. And along with that, they've added a dust seal to the rear plate to prevent ingress of foreign matter into the release bearing. So my understanding is that the bell housing to the back of the engine is now sealed, because traditionally on the 5-speed with the V8, we'd often get customers ask us, oh, breathers, this and that, where do I connect them to with our diff breather kits? And we said, you don't need to seal it off. The bell housing is open. There's lots of large open holes, especially on the top on the V8 manual transmission option. So the 4-cylinder variant, I'm keen to see if they've now sealed it to the backing plate of the engine, like some Nissans do. Let's see what you've done, Toyota. Hopefully you haven't gone for a tricky release bearing and something in there, because these cars go off-road, and it needs to be rock solid. But as a Toyota, I trust they'll do something good like they always have. Well, you just got yourself a center console with an automatic, and if you're going back to manual, you lost it just like that. For years, we never had one. We got one with the auto, and if you still want that manual, you lost the console up here. Well, also, it's pretty straightforward. You're going to lose tow haul because you've got a manual, and downhill assist, you're going to lose that because you've got a manual. Well, you've got gears. Hope you can drive. You're going to need to punch that pedal on the left and pull that stick because that's your downhill control. Also, second gear start. You're not going to have that as a button. You can do it if you've got a manual, so you can start in any gear you wish. See, Toyota got no discrimination, manual or auto, we're all equal, same GCM. So let's get to the nitty gritty. 4-cylinder auto versus manual, specs, what do you get, and what are Toyota telling us? All right, bonnet's up just like that. Oh, shameless plug. How good are those gas struts? Don't have to put the arm up. Now, RPM, torque and power, what does the auto deliver versus the manual to you as a driver? What does it transition and where is it at in the driving range? Okay, so the automatic, let's start there because that's what we all know. Now, they're both 150 kilowatts. Now, at 3,000 RPM to 3,400 RPM, they're stating we get 150 kilowatts, 500 Newton meters of torque, 1,500 Newton meters of torque at 1,600 RPM. Nice and low, that's because it's the auto, it gets it down early, all the way through to 2,800 RPM. Look, that's fair, it's great where it is. Yes, it's revvy, it's a 4-cylinder, but it's got it down low. Now, if we compare that with the manual option and the specs and what they've released to us, once again, 150 kilowatts at 3,200 RPM through to 3,400 RPM. So that's coming in 200 RPM later, but finishing at the same RPM. Now, torque, this is the interesting one. Only 450 Newton meters of torque. Where is it at? According to them, 2,400 RPM and through to 3,000 RPM. Compare that with the auto that comes in at 1,600 RPM and goes through to 28. To start with, it's got 50 Newton meters more of torque. The auto starts at 1,600, the manual starts at 2,400. There's a massive variation of where the peak torque or where the torque band is in manual versus auto. Now, where does it finish? The manual does carry it 200 RPM longer. However, it doesn't get it for much later in the RPM, and the automatic, it says its torque band finishes at 2,800 RPM. Really, looking at that, I reckon the auto is going to drive better because you're going to have to pedal it to get it, unless you're going to tune it and do some work with the 4-cylinder manual, a bit like the V8. It was just bland and boring. You're revving it, you weren't getting any more torque. The auto, going off these stats, punches digits down low, drives, yes, it's going to be revvy, it is a 4-cylinder. Now, when we look at final drive ratios, the 4-cylinder automatic, 4.3, and the manual is a 4.1. So, once again, that's pretty cool, and I think this is why, if you're going to upgrade your tyres, I would be going with the auto. The feedback from Ronnie with upgraded tyres on the 4-cylinder automatic is it's got heaps of torque down low, drives well, and that is going to be because the ratios and where the torque's at, the car performs and drives well. Same engine, similar outputs, totally different final drive ratios. What do you think it's going to drive like? One thing that I've noticed that hasn't been mentioned is AdBlue. Have they just not disclosed it yet? Is it going to pop up when you order one and you go to collect your vehicle and you get told about it? Well, whether you're going to sidestep the clutch or just put it in drive, I'll see you in the next video or out on the tracks.